Kicks Country, 92.9, number one for New Country. Good morning, it's 9:40. A little behind schedule this morning, but I figured we'd go ahead and see if we can't get a question answered on our Ask the Lawyer segment. That means I've got Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured, standing by to see what he can do to help out. So would you please help me welcome attorney for the injured, Bruce L. Scheiner. Good morning, Bruce.
Hey, good morning, Todd. How are you doing this morning?
Doing fantastic. How are you doing?
We're doing great, thanks. Everybody's well.
That's the important thing these days. Man, if you can keep everybody well, you're batting 1,000.
You're not kidding.
Anyway, I know that the office crew mostly working remotely at this point, but they're still working hard to make sure that people get justice. So any legal help that is needed, you're our go-to guy.
Well, thank you so much. And yeah, we're working hard and we're making plans to get people back in the office.
As are most businesses, which is good, and it's probably about time to ease into it safely, of course. There's a question before us today that is extremely complicated. I mean, it seems that way to me, but I'll bet it's nothing you haven't heard before. You ready to get into it?
I am ready, Todd.
Okay, this is what our email says today. I was in an auto accident involving 3 vehicles. The right front corner of my SUV was hit and caused severe damage. I also incurred injuries to my neck and back. I have MRIs completed showing herniations, tears, and bulging discs. I was not at fault for the accident and tried to figure out what I was supposed to do. The accident occurred over 3 months ago, and not much seems to have happened other than my insurance company opened a claim for both injury and vehicle damages. The opposing insurance from the man that hit me while driving his work van is trying to avoid assisting with this situation. My doctors told me that I'd need to see a neurosurgeon to repair the damage to my neck and back. I've never been through something like this and honestly have no clue what I'm supposed to do. I feel for me. Most of us haven't been through something like this, and it is very complicated, and that's why I always turn to the professional, in this case, Bruce L. Scheiner. Bruce, what do you make of that?
Well, Todd, I hear the frustration this person is experiencing, and unfortunately, we see this kind of delay frequently.
Right.
My first thought is something we have talked about nearly every week. When you are injured in an accident, you should contact a qualified personal injury attorney. As difficult as it is to understand, insurance companies are in the business of minimizing claims.
Right.
Even your own insurance company may try to reduce your claim and thus save money for the company.
Right.
The at-fault driver was driving a work van and may be trying to avoid being held responsible. It is reasonable to assume the company has sufficient insurance coverage to assist in paying for what sounds like severe injuries and related medical expenses.
Okay.
Many people don't realize when you contact the personal injury law firm, there is no expense for the consultation, and most only get paid if they make a recovery for you. So it's so important that when you're getting jerked around by the insurance company, you contact a lawyer that's experienced and knows how to, put the hammer down and get things moving along. Right.
And in this case, when you've got a work vehicle, there's an insurance company that has to be consulted at some point. You've got future medical procedures that are necessary. Herniations, tears, bulging discs all sound very painful to me. Is there a possibility of recovery for pain and suffering here?
Well, absolutely. As long as they do have substantial insurance, it seems that this person would be entitled to a substantial recovery for their, injuries, their pain and suffering, mental anguish, and all the other intangible damages.
Bruce, speak to us for a second, if you would, about, he says, I've never been through something like this, honestly have no clue. I think most folks, when and if, and heaven forbid they actually get into a situation like this, the fear and the anxiety over where to turn and what to do, that's overwhelming, almost as much as the physical pain.
Well, yes, and there's so many different aspects to the claim. What doctor should you see? Who's going to pay for the medical bills? what are they going to do to be compensated for lost wages for the time they're not able to work?
Yeah.
What about mileage going to and from the doctor? These are all things that come up. Who's going to pay for the property damage?
Right.
What's the best repair shop to go to? Yesterday, I got a call. This poor lady had just purchased the car 3 days before her accident.
Oh no!
So as soon as she takes that car out of the new car showroom, she's losing money because now that it's damaged, she'll never be able to sell it for what it's worth.
Right.
These are all things that our law firm helps people with. We have a separate department that just helps people with their property damage if they were injured in an accident.
Right. So what I'm hearing is if you find yourself riddled with anxiety and nervousness over these details, turn it over to the professionals and then take a deep breath and relax. They'll handle it from there. You'll handle it from there, so to speak.
That's what we're here for. All we need is a phone call.
All right, Bruce, thanks again for chatting with us, and I'm sure that gives some hope in this situation in particular. Please say hi to the family for me and take care of yourself.
Well, thank you very much, Todd. I look forward to answering another challenging question next Wednesday morning.
And I'm sure we will have one. Goodbye, Bruce. Thanks again.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, so Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured, has these kinds of answers if you run into this kind of trouble. If you need immediate help, then sending a question into the radio station, here's what you do. You call the Port Charlotte office of Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates, 941-743-7777. 941-743-7777. Tell them that Todd Matthews sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.